Okay, so hello and welcome to this Business Spotlight interview. I'm delighted today to be joined by Sammy-Jo Whitby from Creative Content by Samantha Joanne. Hi, Sammy, how are you?
Hi, good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me today.
No problem.
It'd be great to start with you giving me some more background on what your business is and how long you've been going.
Okay, no problem. So basically, I provide content for businesses. I do that with drone works, videography, photography, and then ultimately it all comes down to the editing and how that's presented for businesses as well. I use quality equipment and the top end software, so it really makes that content pop for people and stand out from their competitors.
Okay, great. And how long have you been going? How long has the business been
I
going?
literally just went full self-employed only 4 months ago, so I'm very new.
Okay, brilliant. Well, congratulations for starting the business. How's it going so far?
It's been going really, really well. I kind of started in mind where I was going to try and start off with getting 1 lead per day to fill up my sales pipeline. Obviously, eventually that will start to trickle through. And after that sort of, 3-4 month mark now, it's starting to feel like I'm getting work every single week. It's the cash flow is starting to look better, so it's good.
That's fantastic. Well done. So what was the reason for starting then? What made you decide to start working for yourself?
Well, I actually have a background in finance. I trained in finance for over 10 years. I got my AAT qualification and my CICM, ended up becoming a credit manager for a group, a big PLC company that deals internationally. So that was really good. But then I kind of felt like I'd reached a point where I was missing something else in my life. So I wanted something creative because I've always been a very creative person. But I thought, well, what could I do? Take this and something else that I enjoy and put them together. So I decided to go up with photography. So that's where it started. And that led into videography. And then just this year, I got my drone license.
Wow, fantastic. That's So quite a leap from where you were to what you're doing now, but
Yeah. Funny enough, though, it all kind of feeds into one because everything that I used to work on, like management accounts, project work, spreadsheets, it's all very analytical. And then when you think about the editing side of what I do, again, that's all very analytical. So I'm very good at the creative side. We've got a creative eye, get out and shoot, but I'm also very technical. I'm quite business minded as well because of that finance background, which I think that feeds into my USP for my customers.
Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. And so what do you enjoy most about what you're doing now with the business, how it's going?
I'd say I love being creative and definitely the editing involved that we just spoke about. But mostly I've always had a big interest in aviation since I was a young girl. Actually, one of my first things I wanted to do was be a pilot. I was, old enough, luckily, to remember days when you could go into the cockpit. And I actually remember doing that. We went on holidays and stuff before, the tragic event.
Yeah.
But, I'm really actually looking forward to one day, flying a plane firsthand. I want to go on a flying experience. So,
wow. Okay.
yeah, I'm going on a path that, that I kind of looking forward
to. So what did getting the drone license involve? Because obviously that's something quite different, quite new, I guess, for a lot of people in this kind of marketing world. So yeah, how did that go? How did that come about, and what did you have to do?
Well, there's a lot of stuff involved, really. Obviously, you've got various licenses you can get, so it depends what market you want to work in. So there's sort of 3 different sectors. You've got your open, your specified, and etc. And then within those each categories, you can fly different size drones in different areas, and then you've got to factor in uninvolved people, buildings. You've got all your rules and regulations, the CAA, insurance. I mean, the list goes on and on. Really, there is a lot involved in that. But then I think, again, because of my business background, I don't really mind getting down into the nitty gritty and and making sure I'm following the regulations. I provide full flight plans for all my customers. Recently I've just been doing one for a golf club that's situated right next door to a power plant that's obviously brings a lot of obstacles with stuff like that, because you can't, you literally can't shoot the power station at all, because you can't have that up online for people able to distance for security reasons, which is fair enough. So it does make it a little bit difficult, but then also interesting at the same time.
No, definitely.
I do like a challenge, so
yeah, that sounds like a big challenge to be able to kind of manage that. Fantastic. So what would you say then differentiates yourself from, you know, the competition in that kind of content creating marketing space?
I think really, again, going back to my background and obviously being trained in finance, I'm very methodical, very business-like, reliable, and I really understand the big picture for businesses and how that all comes together from finance to content. I always said when I first started, you know, I've got the sort of the finance background, and people always need people to handle their money, but what's the other side of that? They need people to market them and help generate those sales. So if you can have an understanding of both and appreciate both and bring that into sort of one service, if you will, or one skill, then, you know, you can deliver something really good for your customer.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. So it's interesting that you've got that background, yeah, that, you know, creativity is obviously, I guess, key in what you do, but you've got the balance of the business side of it as well, which is really, obviously really important, because at the end of the day, we're in the business, right? So
that's it. Or even back then, you know, I was always very interested in, you know, the software side of things. You know, I project managed an off the shelf system for the company that I worked for, something that wasn't actually available on the market, that was very much needed within finance and the insurance industry. So just even things like that in my background, I think really helped me with my business today. So
okay, perfect. So what does the future look like for you, and, you know, what do you see as the main challenges, you know, moving forward?
Well, obviously flying a drone is very seasonal. So I'm kind of making hay while the sun's out, as they say. But I am at the moment looking into investing in my third drone, which will be a first-person view, and that will then allow me to invest in some software that I want to get that helps you map out buildings. So that will allow me to fly indoors for businesses for various different, you know, industries and different things, not just essentially for marketing. And I can carry that on through the winter. So that's my aim through summer, just to get that completed so I can continue to work through winter.
Okay, so what kind of things, when you say, obviously, kind of, I understand the flying, you know, outside doing those kind of aerial shots, when you're talking about the internal stuff, what kind of businesses and things would be using you for that, or how could you help them?
Mostly development industries, you know, and then obviously people that already have land and buildings, property developers, essentially, that might be looking to develop that site. But essentially, you know, you could send in a surveyor, which they're very hard to get these days. They're very overpriced. Send me in with a drone and my software, and I can map it out for you and basically give you a 3D model that you can look at from, you know, a PC or your phone, zoom in and out of, have all the measurements there, live video. It's just a drone really is, it's the way forward for so many businesses, and so many businesses are using it now as a part of their day-to-day processes.
Oh, interesting. Oh, okay. And then when you kind of reflect on your first few months as a business owner, what do you think your biggest learnings have been about yourself, you know, becoming that business owner and running a business for yourself?
Probably believing in yourself. I suppose I've always been a bit of a pessimistic Patty about, you know, just cracking on and getting on with it and, you know, and getting it done. But I'm glad that I finally took that plunge and just did it. And it seems to be going well. So fingers crossed it continues to do that.
Yeah, no, well, absolutely. If you know what you're saying back at, you know, obviously you started to create those clients, and, you know, the hard, I suppose the hard side of it is the sales bit, right? When you're setting yourself up and creating. But are you now creating content that, you know, people where are your leads coming from now?
That's the thing that's been very surprising. It's very varied. I kind of thought that I might be niching just a few different markets, but it's opened up into areas that I never even really thought about, like, you know, surveying land and fisheries and rivers and buildings, roofs, to marketing for, you know, events, businesses. there's just really so much that you can do.
Cool. Okay. Fantastic. And like to ask this question about, you know, with business owners, what advice would you give to someone who's thinking of starting their own business? You know, what would be your one big bit of advice?
Do your research, know your market, definitely looking into, you know, what's available in the area, what other people are charging. You know, one of the hardest things to go self-employed is obviously making sure you can prop yourself up for those first few months, you know, just making sure you've got those things in check and you can support yourself for a little bit before the money starts coming in. I think that's all you can really do at the beginning, and then just go out and work as hard as you can.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. Cool. Okay, thanks. That's really, really helpful. And finally, what's the best way to contact you and find out a bit more about what you can offer businesses out there with what you're doing?
So probably the easiest way to find me is by my website. It's nice and easy to remember. It's just contentbysj.com.
Okay. And on there, what have you got on there that, you know, what will people find when they get on there?
So they've got my current website is actually one that I just set up myself. It was a Wix site one. So it's just got some of my photography on there, details on my services, how you contact me, my background, a bit of a kind of a CV type website, I suppose you could say, just so people can get a bit of a feel for me. Actually, funnily enough, within the next sort of, you know, 3 to 4 weeks, my professional website should be coming out. Which is going to be a bit more of an editorial. Well, it will just be sort of a banner for all my work. So it will just be videos and stuff like that. So it'll be a bit more interactive for people to view what I've done already.
Fantastic. All right, brilliant. Well, thanks for that. And you know, again, thank you for your time. It's been really interesting to hear about your journey so far. And I wish you all the best as you continue to grow. You know, what sounds like a fantastic, you know, business, and you know, all the best for that. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me on that.
No problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
bye now.